Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 1st of December 2023. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Reiner Fuellmich. I know a lot of people know who he is, and if you don't, he's basically a German lawyer who's trying to bring various members of the powers that shouldn't be to account. I think it was him who coined the phrase Nuremberg 2, which is basically what he would ideally like to bring about, to see all of the people behind the whole sort of lurgy con sort of brought to account, really, tried properly, and then if found guilty, which let's face it, they most likely would be, and then thrown into prison. So that's what this guy Reiner Fuellmich has been trying to do. Now, if you've been following him and you wondered why he's gone quiet over the last few months, you might be aware of this story, but if not, I'll run it by you now. And quite honestly, it's a story which the kind of best thrillers out there can barely keep up with, because it's an extraordinary one. So you might remember Reiner Fuellmich put out various videos either on this platform and other platforms as well, basically trying to orchestrate the whole Nuremberg 2 thing. And you might recall he worked in a small team consisting of primarily this sort of older kind of blonde lady called Vivian Fischer, who is a fellow German, and they were sort of often seen around this kind of board table working together. Well, it transpires that this Vivian Fischer has kind of brought charges against Reiner Fuellmich for basically financial irregularities. I'm sure they were given plenty of money by people in the freedom movement who wished them well and wanted to donate a little bit of money so that Reiner and the team could bring things sort of further forward. So that's what they're doing, and that is what this Vivian Fischer was doing. She reckoned she spotted some financial irregularities going on. She reported it to the authorities, and Reiner Fuellmich has been forced to go quiet, basically. First of all, he kind of went from Germany to Mexico. He was obviously fearing arrest for perhaps something that he thought he shouldn't be arrested for. So he kind of went over to Mexico. He lived there for a undisclosed amount of time. I'm not sure how long he was over there for. I didn't even know he was in Mexico until I heard this story as it sort of progressed. And that is, him and his wife were kind of tricked to go into the German embassy in Mexico to get sort of new passports. Apparently they lost them, whether they were stolen by whoever, I don't know, but they had to go and get replacement passports. And when they turned up, Reiner Fuellmich was pounced upon by German police who were there in the German embassy, which they're allowed to do because embassies are the soil of the country that the embassy belongs to. So even though it's in Mexico, he was arrested effectively on German soil, and then he was sort of brought back to Germany after that. This was all about 2 months ago, I think it was, around that sort of time. And ever since, Reiner Fuellmich has been in a German prison. Now, it's absolutely unbelievable. Okay, if he really was involved with financial irregularities, sort of fair enough, that's probably what he deserves. And I've got no idea whether the guy's innocent or whether he's guilty, but my gut instinct would be that he's innocent of all of this stuff, and he's basically been set up by the powers that shouldn't be, who were obviously getting either very annoyed by the fact that he was arranging all of this Nuremberg 2 stuff, or even pretty frightened by the whole thing, and so they stitched him up. Again, whether this Vivian Fisher is an honourable lady or not, or whether she was put up to it by the powers that shouldn't be to bring false allegations, again, I'm not going to make any comment on that. Although, again, if you kind of force my hand to say what my gut instinct was, I would say that's probably likely to be the case, that she was kind of some kind of stooge, or at least kind of got at to bring about these false accusations. But this is purely conjecture on my part, but if you want my gut instinct, that's what it'd be. So really, the story, to bring you totally up to date, is Reiner Fuellmich is currently sitting, I think, pretty much in solitary confinement. He's not even able to socialise. He's not able to have really any kind of freedom, even within the prison environment. All of his sort of calls are very heavily vetted. He can't really say anything about pretty much anything to his wife when she comes to visit him, or when she calls him. And it is absolutely unbelievable that this guy who, I would say he is almost certainly a political prisoner. He's been sort of set up by the powers that shouldn't be, and even though Germany is supposed to be a democratic country, they've got him in prison, sort of rotting there, and Reiner Fuellmich's not really getting anywhere very fast. So I watched a video which was actually sent in to me by a viewer, so thank you very much. And this video features Reiner Fuellmich's wife, Inka Fuellmich, and she's been interviewed by this other lady, American lady by the sounds of her, and really Inka is telling us all in this video what the latest on the Reiner Fuellmich situation is. So it's quite an extraordinary story, isn't it? 1 minute this guy is trying his best to get to the bottom of exactly what was going on, doing it all properly. He's a proper trained lawyer. He's sort of going through the processes in the proper way, and then the next thing we know, he's got this charge of financial irregularities hanging over his head, and then he's arrested, and now he's in prison. And this seems to be a common thing, doesn't it? If it was just him, then maybe I might be thinking, well, maybe there's no smoke without fire kind of thing. But we've seen a lot of other people in the freedom movement where this kind of thing has happened as well. Dr. Sutrit Bhakti, who's a fellow German, he had a court case brought about against him, didn't he, a few months ago, which fortunately was thrown out in double quick time. And there's quite a few other people in the freedom movement who are suffering. The people who organised the Canadian trucker protests, for instance, they're still in prison even now, even though that was almost 2 years ago now. So utterly unbelievable. And just, if you still thought you were living in a free democratic country, hard to accept that after the last few years, I know, but if you were still under illusions, it seems that if you do too much to speak out against the state, too much to speak out against politicians who you don't just think but know for a fact are corrupt, and you get to a prominent position where you're saying that, and you've got sort of hundreds of thousands of people or even millions of people sort of following you and your progress on what you're saying about these people, like Reiner Fuellmich did, it seems that the powers that shouldn't be are going to come after you, and they're going to use all sorts of dirty tricks to basically shut you up. And yeah, that just shouldn't be something that happens in a free and democratic society. So really the only conclusion that you can come to is that we are not living in a free and democratic society, and until things are put into place, safeguards are put into place where this kind of thing can't happen, people can't be stitched up, people can't be just thrown into prison for pretty much no reason, yeah, you know, we're going to have to just carry on knowing or accepting that we're not living in a free society, and we just need to, no matter how much intimidation they try and come out with, we're just going to have to keep struggling, keep on with the struggle, keep on speaking out, and you know, hopefully one day we will stop this kind of thing from happening. Anyway, with that little bit of a rant over with, I'll let you go and watch that thing with Reiner Fuellmich's wife, and she gives a really good update on, I think this video is only a few days old, and it gives you a very good update on exactly what's happening to Reiner Fuellmich at the moment. So I'll let you go and do that, and I'll be back soon. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.